We are live, ladies and gentlemen. I thought we would give this one more shot. The last time we had tried doing the live stream, I had issues with, I guess, figuring out how to do a live stream again. So I hope you are getting this information clearly and soundly. I'm going to be diving in and I'm going to take a look at Bitcoin. I'm also going to give a good chunk of this episode to anything you guys would like to take a look at. I do know that you've always got these different tokens I've never heard of and that you want me to dive into, so get those questions ready or leave them in the chat box and I'll do my best to go over as many of them as possible in the next short half-hour sequence here. I hope you are all having wonderful holidays with your family as well, wherever you might be in the world. And maybe if you guys want, also leave your thoughts, comments, and questions below when you give us those thumbs up or thumbs down, either way, your choice on what would be the best time to do some of these live streams for you guys, and then where you are in the world. You can just be vague, like California. You don't have to say like Sebastopol, California, whatever it might be. You guys let me know. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to take a look at Bitcoins as you guys propagate all your questions and thoughts and thumbs up. Let me take a look at your questions once we get back to that. But in the meantime, I'm just going to swing the screen over here and we're going to take a look at Bitcoin and then share our sentiments from there. Okay. So here we have Bitcoin open on the 1 hour chart. Now I'm going to actually go back out to the daily to give a little bit better of a perspective of where I think we are and what I think might be happening. Now, we, in our last live stream, talked about the potential of this fractal occurring, bringing us above the green line. Right here, we saw a very similar sentiment move, almost identical in its structure, and then we saw it again here. Now, this particular part, now that we've gotten above the mid-range of the channel, it's very likely we'll test 8100. Again, whether we break outside of the bear claw or not is hard to say. If we do manage to make it to the top of the 200 simple moving average on the daily here, that is going to be a really nice sentiment. Although if it was only a wick, it would not be all that good. If we close up there with volume, that would be very bullish. Although in the much shorter term, what I wanted to take a look at today was something that I had not gone over before. This was the gaps in the CME fill. Again, when we start trading derivatives in these markets, it's not all that healthy for what we're going through. But what I have noticed, and I've looked around and studied some of this stuff, and your guys' interest in it, is when there's a gap in the CME fill. So currently I'm looking at the Bitcoin CME futures on the daily. I think it's actually a little bit more prominent if I go back down to the hour where these gaps are. Oh yeah, there we go. So yesterday we were in the private bear den. For those of you that don't know or haven't signed up, you can go to arcanebear.com, sign up for our private newsletter. And what we were looking at was this big gap in the CME. Now there's two of them that were really, really close at hand here, and I can circle them with, actually I'll use a square, it might be a little more recognizable. Here was a gap between 7,200 and 7,400. And we also had another really short gap between 7,000 and 7,100. So here as well, to my eagle's nest, that's pretty funny. This gap here between 7,200 and 7,400, when we were back up here yesterday, we suspected this would fill, and lo and behold, it started to fill. It's likely that now we will come back to around $7,200. So what we're seeing is that there is a type of deliverable or measurable relationship between the CME futures on the very short term, within a few days, and the actual price of Bitcoin itself. So I do suspect we will come a little bit lower. And when we look at the daily on Bitcoin as well, what's really nice and interesting about this, let's see here. I don't want my bear claw on this. There we go. Just the eagle's nest. I'm not sure why the bear claw got turned off here. And anyways, that's another great sentiment. For those of you guys that want, you can go in and you can, we have our free indicators. The bear claw is one of our favorites. I do believe it's my scripts. The bear claw, boom. Hopefully it comes back with all of the colors that we had initially put in there. Nope, it didn't. That's okay. I thought we coded it with different colors, but unimportant. It's a stacked EMA. It's a very nice one. I'm very excited about it. It's a remake of what's called the Super Guppy. So again, if we roll back out to the daily on Bitcoin, what we can see is we are not in a bullish sentiment yet. We are far from that, but we are at least above the mid-range of this channel. There's likely upward momentum around 7,800 now that we're above this channel. Do we get any higher than that? Time will tell. Again, there's a lot of speculation coming in around the halving that's going to be coming up in the future. I just want to make sure everything's running somewhat smoothly here. And because of that, the big question is this already priced into the markets? And I think a lot of people's interest in the halvening is going to lead to speculation and may have been even part of some of the run-up into the $13,000 range. Now, the real downside to all of this, and those of you that are in the private bear club would already know this, but this could just be a giant B wave. So we could have seen A, B, and C, which means we could retrace somewhere around the $5,100. And that's kind of what I'm leaning into now. This bull flag hasn't invalidated, but in the traditional markets it has. So in the crazy crypto markets, I'm not sure. We could say that maybe it hasn't invalidated because but it definitely did in a traditional market sense. And that's where we're always kind of having to learn and adjust some of our, I guess, pattern recognition systems. There's a few that have been very bullish for us. The falling wedge has worked out really well, especially on the longer time frames. Like if we look at Matic that we had even like a week ago on the 4 hour, we had a really bullet 50% run out of this falling wedge. And falling wedges are really beautiful. Now, they're much better to have on a multi-day relationship. Using them on the shorter term, the less reliable they become. Anytime you're on a longer time frame, the easier it is to have a more reliable sentiment. But from the bottom of this wedge here, there's a very, very fast 50% gain. Now, we weren't still in Matic, but we had taken and entered positions back here in the middle of our, the beginning of our November newsletter. We saw a huge 180% run, although I didn't catch all of it, so I exited around 450 on a stop loss. Again, using stop losses and moving them into profit is a great way to go. There are other options like 3 commas and Crow, but I won't get into that stuff. The point here is these patterns have been expedited. So even the falling wedge here, taking only a few days to really form itself, used to take maybe a week or two. So now that we're seeing a 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week marketplace, these patterns have become exaggerated. And this is one of the reasons why I'm still not entirely confident that we aren't in a bull flag. In a traditional market sense, we've already broken it. We should be going to $5,000. But these are not traditional markets. These markets fluctuate a little differently because there is no rest for the wicked, they might say. And with 24-hour trading, you've got one side of the world waking up right as one of the other sides of the world falls asleep. These exaggerated market pressures are something that we've been watching for the last year or two. And I think, again, what's healthy and important to understand is that anytime you're educating yourself and there are new, like, let's say fluctuations, or like you're studying a new type of, what's going on here? One sec, ladies and gentlemen, my screen seems to be lagging. I'm sure it's all the internet speed. Let's just refresh this. Maybe that will help. Anytime you're learning something new, or learning, or practicing with an experiment under different variables, you have to recognize that those variables are important. And that what we're seeing here in the birth of a new marketplace is important. It's one of the kind of fun and exciting things about this whole idea is that we don't really know exactly how these new patterns play out. There are definitely, ideas that the algorithmic bots have been taught from the traditional markets, and that a lot of good traders know from the traditional markets too, which has a type of fulfilling in its prophecy because everyone's watching the same idea. The difference here is with such chaotic trading with no weekends off, everyone's emotions are pushed and heightened. And that's really what we're trading off of often is people's emotions. And, part of the market sentiment is to understand really the difference between what a trader and an investor is. I think it's super important that we always have either you're going to choose to be an investor, or you're going to choose to be a trader and an investor, or you're going to choose just to be trading these waves essentially. And one of the things I think that happens is people don't recognize that being a trader is difficult. Being an investor is pretty simple. Just keep putting money into the markets. Every time you can, put $50 a week into CBDP over the course of a decade. Bitcoin, any of these marketplaces is going to do well for you. And I don't think we're taught that in our regular education. And that's basically what investing is. The simplest way for me to explain it is just keep putting money into things you're interested in. And if you need to exit those markets and diversify your portfolio, whether it's into property or gold or equity in other businesses, or maybe you just need to pay because you want to go on a vacation, that's what this financial stability is for. It's to allow you to continue exploring in bewilderment your journey through this wonderful and miraculous life, right? It's not to get stressed about, how much money are these things going to cost? Am I making enough? And this is a miraculous moment to be alive, regardless of how much money you have. So being grateful is actually one of the best ways to rewire your circumstances to become more successful, because conscientiousness is one of the highest indicators for your success on the long term. Anyways, so now that we've broken above the mid-range of the channel, if we stay above here, I think we'll test around 7,800. Whether we go higher than that, up to around 9,200, and hold there with volume, that will be the bullish indicator. Again, other than that, I feel like we're going to come lower now. And again, if we can add an alert here that also lets me know that if we break below this indicator, that way, and if everyone in the private bear den will get notified if we break this range again. And then same with our, our mid-range stop loss here up at around $8,000. If we break above that, we'll have a marker set as well. And we'll set one more here. So again, for those of you in the private bear den members, you'll get these all on the bulletin board. And again, the breaking of this at around 5,800 would bring us down to around $5,000 pretty easily, right around this mid-range of the VPR. And again, that would be one of these, again, close to the worst case scenarios, because back in the newsletters of June, when we were up at around 13,000, we're looking at, will we go back down as a B wave to test these lower areas? So I'm going to leave it at that for Bitcoin. I'm going to dive in and take a look at a few of your guys' questions. So I'll give you my face back. That way I don't see this random screen open here. And let's see, there's going to be a bunch here. People are asking about Hex, Reggie Middleton and Veritasium. I haven't looked. Okay, we'll let's start with that one, and then we'll just kind of dive through quickly. Reggie Middleton and Veritasium. You got fined by the SEC, but let's take a look at EOS, right? It appears now that the SEC doesn't give a shit whether people got scammed or not. What they care about is, did you get scammed, and can that scam afford to pay the SEC off? It's probably the biggest conundrum that they've put in front of us, is the realization that, hey, if you took enough money from enough people to pay us off, then we don't really care. And that's basically what happened with EOS. EOS's system had made enough money that they could pay off the fine, and it was just a drop in the bucket compared to the billions of dollars that they had raised over the course of the year or two, many of which anyways, that's besides the point. So I think what's categorically noticeable about these stories is the SEC says as long as you rip off, save individuals are really regulators that are just trying to make their own wage, and are not really useful for the lower end investor, because if you still got hit and hurt, you still got hit and hurt. They didn't do anything for you. None of that money that they took from EOS they give back to people. So it's very, very difficult to take any side in that particular conversation, because they basically came out and said, as long as you make enough money to pay us off, the mafia doesn't care. Oh, hey, look, guys, just rip enough people off. Fascinating story, really. So that's all I think about Reggie Middleton. Veritasium is, I guess they should have tried to raise more to pay off the SEC. I don't know. Let's see. John says, wishing you a Merry Christmas. I wish you guys all a Merry Christmas as well. Happy holidays, whatever religious form you might be celebrating. Just be happy, be grateful to be here. What platform will you use when they shut you down? There's no one gonna shut us down. I don't know what that means. You mean YouTube? YouTube won't do that. I think we won't even get into that conversation. YouTube has actually done a great job. I'm really a big fan of YouTube. I think that they do a great job here. Obviously that they've gone through some troubles in the last year about children's content versus adult content, and that's noticeable. I had a very good conversation about this topic with the creators of Bitcoin and Friends, and it was very obvious that they were creating content that was not for children, yet it could be perceived as that because it's a cartoon. And when you do that, YouTube will slash your views, because there's a lot of people that sign up for YouTube that don't have any age attached to their account. And then when there's no age attached to their account, YouTube is going to assume that they're children. And this is important, because if you now want to appeal to an audience who may also be anarchists and not want to put their date of birth on it, too bad. This is a growing trend, is the fact that these platforms are becoming reliable or responsible for their audience and demographics. I mean, the real next steps are likely platforms where we're not reliant upon a single entity, where the government can infiltrate and enforce reactionary measures to this. Although at the same point, it's a good thing. We want to protect children from content that may be abusive or harmful to them as well. And that's, these platforms were designed to be for everyone. So it's no wonder that we see these types of regulations change. So even though we swear and we probably get slashed reviews because of that, it's just the nature of the game. And I don't think we'll ever get banned. I do think understanding that these companies have a responsibility to the nature of their user is something that's valuable. Mr. Idiot says, take a look at XRP. We'll put that one on the board. I'll write it down. XRP is one of the ones you want me to look at. I'll go over them very quickly here once I scroll through all the questions. Hey, TOs, what is your sentiment on the long-term viability of BTC regarding the potential threats to Tether folding, continuing government reach taxes? Bitcoin will always remain useful, especially with continued government reach, taxes, bans. Once the US dollar starts to explode, or once any government starts to explode, it's dangerous regardless of what kind of money you had. I think the important part here is understanding that. Understanding that the government reach, let's use Venezuela as a prime example. Once the governments start to go down, it is not healthy, and it doesn't matter how much money you have, you don't want to stay in that country. I do not think that whether you have Bitcoin or gold is going to make any difference if you're in Venezuela. The best thing to do would be to get out of Venezuela and go to a different country. And some of my best friends in Costa Rica are all doctors, high-level occupation entrepreneurs who are now teachers and business owners that have started to study in other countries because they saw what was coming in Venezuela before it exploded. And I think that's what you'll see many times over, is that you'll see people move away from the countries that are failing, and the United States is on the chopping block, probably the last to get its head chopped off, but it's there nonetheless. So regardless of what money you have or what type of occupation you have, if you're in the place when the things start to explode, you're not going to have all that much fun. What do you think about Ocean Protocol? I don't know what Ocean Protocol is. Maybe you can send me something. Brian Beck says, good to see you. Glad feeling better. Yeah, I was sick for a little bit. What platform will you use without YouTube? YouTube is going to remain strong for a long time. They can adapt very quickly. If they wanted to insert a cryptocurrency underneath and decentralize their protocols, they could do so. And they would not have that difficult of a time being the first to the races. Moonshine Fields is, what happened to your hair? I figured it was time. I'd had long hair for 15 years. Thought it would be a good way to go. Can you look at Solve? I don't know what Solve is. If you guys can send me some links, that way I don't have to spend too much time searching what these things are either. Or at least like maybe their ticker symbol as well. I will look over at CoinGecko. So far we've got XRP, Solve, Ocean Protocol. I see that as well. Let's see, take a look at the last ideas here you guys are using. What are the new indicators you're using? So all the indicators that we are using, you can actually download for free by following us on TradingView. And we'll start with that. And then, pardon my ignorance, but is there a benefit to the having of BTC? Not really. That's the bold part of that question, and I will answer that as well. So again, let's roll into this, and we'll roll into it from the indicator side of things. That way we can show you guys where to start from with that particular idea. So we'll give you the screen back. If you go to tradingview.com and you follow us on TradingView by searching up here at the ticker, you can click people and then type in Arcane Bear. You'll see us will pop up like this. And then what you can do is, if you go down to our indicators or scripts section, more importantly, you can actually follow. We've got the Eagle's Nest, the Bear Claw, and the Eagle Crossing. The Eagle's Nest and the Bear Claw I use all the time. As you see, 261 likes, 174 likes on these. These are great indicators. Again, the Eagle's Nest is basically a moving average, giving yourself enough time to see what happens when certain things happen. Again, same with the bear claw, just stacked EMAs. But what's important about that, well, you kind of gain that information by watching it. Explaining it isn't very easy. It's like, well, how do you do a kickflip on a skateboard? It's like, I could explain it to you, but the best thing for you to do is just try it out. So follow us on TradingView. You can download all of our indicators for free. We will hopefully make some new ones here in the future. These are the 3 same ones we've had. And then also from there, you can follow some of our ideas, all the tokens that we've been watching. The breakout of Harmony recently, that was a fun one. There was a nice 20 to 30% gain there off that. And here, watch it go. Blink. Oh, right to the top, but we broke down. See? That's why you always want to run with a stop loss, is to be very, very careful about the way these ideas play out. It's obviously important. We didn't make it up to 117. Right in the top of the wick here at 113, though, I think I exited around 101 on a stop loss again. So I didn't really exit. The stop loss exited me. But nonetheless, you can follow us on TradingView there. We'll go back here. You guys had asked about XRP. Not a big fan of this token. Raised $200 million. Like, what? How is this not a security? How they haven't got hit by the SEC yet is just baffling to me. In some way, shape, or form, you could let's just put an analogous trend line right here. If we break this trend line that we're on right now, this thing is going to fall into oblivion. I'd be very, very weary about this right now. It doesn't look good. I don't think this looks good. And we haven't been able to get above the moving averages on either of the plays here. And we're right at the bottom of the trend line for a multi-month trend line too. I don't have any more time on this one because it was only added to Binance recently. I guess I could try to add XRP from a different exchange to see if there's further data on XRP to Poloniex. Probably one of the longest exchanges, I guess. Let's see if it gives us a bit more data, and then we'll go out actually to the weekly as well. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, it doesn't fit very well here. Only on this. No, kind of actually. Yeah, even still, all the way back to March of 2017. You see these explosive gains out of XRP, which is, I mean, if you can take advantage of an 1100% gain any of the time, that's pretty friggin' awesome. And it happened once, twice. Whether it happens again or not has yet to be seen. I would be very weary about this token because of this trend line, though. If we break below it, you can come falling down all the way to 900 Satoshis. Again, that would be a pretty big drop from where we are today. So I would be hesitant to represent another 60% downtrend for XRP, and that I think is likely, especially you see on the weekly we're just about to cross over in the Eagle's Nest above. On the daily, let's take a look. We're still turned down on the daily, and on the 4-hour. Well, we're headed back up on the 4-hour, but we haven't crossed the mid-range. If we cross the mid-range, maybe there's a small little bullish movement up to the 2980 area, but again, being right on the bottom of this trend line and having a lower low than the previous low in this double bottom doesn't look all that sexy. I'd be if I had a position here, or I was trying to take positions here, I'd make sure I had a super tight stop loss set. Okay, you guys also, what else did you ask about? Oh, you asked about Hex. I don't want to talk about that token very much, but I will take a look at its price because it's probably just trash garbage, because that's my sentiments about it. We've left this talking about this out of any of our sentiments. Even people who have asked to post their referral links in our private bear and open bear newsletter communities, we said don't. Again, this is, as far as I can tell, a scam. It has all the hallmarks of a scam. Whether Richard Hart thinks it's a scam or not doesn't really make a difference. A lot of people are going to believe people regardless. So here you have, let's see, December 23rd. So let's see, from $1,000 in volume, $3,000 in volume, $8,000 in volume. Am I looking at this right? Yeah, let's take a look at the market cap too. Okay, yeah, so there's not a lot of data here on CoinGecko about this token, so it'd be very hard for me to speculate. But 1331. Yeah, this, I mean, look, I don't remember what it is, hex coin or hex token. I'll show you why I think it's ridiculous. Look, first off, there's an advertisement here. That's a bold move. Bold move, guys. Okay, this is actually their MetaMask drop, hex.win. I think this is where they talk about it. Very poorly put together website. Here's the polygons from the ICO phase. This should be a direct indicator that this is probably no good. Look, I like Richard Hart too. It's nothing bad against him. It's just against the idea. Look, I can probably find some very obvious things that would say to me that this is not a good idea. And I haven't looked at this website before, so you have to give me a second. Yeah, see all of this 100% claims. If they average 369% interest, that's a very these are very dangerous things to say. These are these will be direct firing targets for the SEC. I'm positive of it, whether Richard Hart is in the United States or not. You're trying to provide a better financial service or not, you need to follow the laws. As much as I don't agree with them, I'd prefer the SEC just stepped out of the way and let people do ridiculous things and hopefully learn from the valuable lessons of investing in a scam and learning that they did something stupid. Doing stupid things is like an experiential process, and it actually leads to better thinking. I think so. I mean, personally, I don't think there should be any laws or regulations around this, but there are, and because of that, it's dangerous. Just to see these, everything's a positive, 20% speed bonus. Like what? Why is there so many plus percentages? Like these are all very dangerous. How hex can make you rich. Just this type of terminology. The hex price could go up 1,000 times. Or 10,000 times profit. See, these are all the indicators to me that just you don't say stuff like that. Not at least in terms of like you can make profit, or it's very difficult. Like he's got a profit simulator. Let's see what this nonsense says. So look, again, nothing against Richard Hart. Although I'm sure if we wanted to, we could talk shit about anyone. The point here is I'm just looking at what they've left out for us to be able to see. Okay, I don't even want to play around with this. It just is too much. So I'm weary of stuff like this. If you remove Richard Hart from the conversation, and I was just to look at it for what it is, all this pooling ROI was the very first decentralized with no person at the helm type of technology. And even though we could speculate that maybe it was even the CIA who made the damn thing, the Pandora's box is open and out of the team. So let's see, no lawyer on the top of there. See, this is another dangerous thing. You would expect at least a general counsel to be considered one of your top teammates, and the fact that they don't have a lawyer on the front end of their team who's very well versed is a danger for these people. And again, like I said, I like, Richard Hart's been around for a long time. They're doing a great job advertising it, but again, this is dangerous. Let's see what the disclaimer says. Okay, maybe I'm spending too much time on this, but I haven't looked at it before. Hex is not a security. So basically, just let me tell you guys that it's not a security, okay? Because then that's what will make it not a security. Okay, we'll leave it at that. The Howey test, defines you as you must have no expectation of any benefit whatsoever. Just because you're telling people that you can't have that expectation in the very front page, when you have all of these massive numbers like 10,000 times gain, it's very hard to say that you won't. People didn't expect that, because I'd have to go all the way down and I have to click on the disclaimer. Anyways, point of this being, that's enough of Hex for now. What else did you guys ask me to look at? What is the Ocean protocol? I don't think it's anything special. I think people are too focused on building protocols instead of actually building functioning applications that the average user can use without them noticing that there's a blockchain involved. That's the real next game changer, I think. So again, I would consider this crap. everyone's trying to build a new protocol. And there are some that I like. Like I like Matic. We've been a fan of Matic since they came out. Great team, great idea. Let's fix Ethereum on a scaling layer 2 solution. So stuff is all really nice to see. Give us those thumbs up if you like this content. I know it's been a while since we've done live streams. I'm going to be going back to Costa Rica, so we're just going to start doing this all the time again. And I will start doing some more of the vlogs, like how much the property costs, how much does it cost to live in Bali, all this random fun stuff that I get to do while living the digital nomadic lifestyle. Let's take a look at it. Please, my big amount's stuck in it. Sonu, please don't spam the chat with the same question over and over again. I'm not even looking at it. I'm talking about something else. So let's see. Oh yeah, the benefit of having the BTC to individuals, there is none, only to the miners. So it makes no difference to you if you're just holding Bitcoin. I know that was the question I had forgot there. XTZ, okay, I'll add that to the list. QKC, Sonu, I'll take a look at QKC, but please don't spam the chat, otherwise we'll just ban you for saying that. Theta, so we've got QKC, Theta, XTZ. There's a crackdown on YouTuber channels. I don't think that's the case. I think that a lot of YouTubers just don't understand how YouTube works, and because of that they come up with their own conspiracy theories about the whole idea. And look, I agree, YouTube is just trying to do its best. Doesn't always mean it works out the best for everyone. They do make mistakes. There are still humans involved in this process. So I'm not saying that they do a perfect job, far from it. But it's definitely not a crackdown on like YouTuber channels in the crypto space. It's just it's them having to update to make sure that the children aren't being distributed content that is abusive to younger minds. I mean, you could consider how stupid you were at 18 years old, and you're watching some YouTuber talk about hex going up 10,000%. YouTube's not going to be very happy about that. Right? It's very likely that they will change their rules and regulations around financial information, where you'll have to click buttons that say what type of channel you are and to what audience you can actually appeal to. If you look at Arcane Bear's audience, everyone is 35 to 65. There's no kids that like what I do, but it's also because I don't talk shit about ridiculous price ranges. We're very logical and analytical in what we're doing. There's no the quickest way. Someone asked me, it's like, what's the fastest way to get rich quickly? I'm like, well, I have no idea, but I can tell you the fastest way to go broke quickly, and that's by trying to get rich quickly. That's a surefire way to lose all your money. And the younger kids don't like hearing that. They like other people telling them they can just accidentally make a bunch of money, which is actually possible if you're good at what you do. You can do really well if you're talented and skilled, but it's very unlikely you're going to gain that by accident. Let's see. So we've got Theta, QKC, XTZ. I'll keep looking at the questions before I dive in. You have to look at exchanges providing liquidity to MoneyGram to see how much utility there is in trending. The project's now strongly driven by market, not retail investors. Again, XRP has nothing to do with those things like MoneyGram. MoneyGram would never use it. It doesn't make any sense to them. They would use the Rapid X protocol underneath, with, again, has nothing to do with the XRP underlying asset as well. Wow, lots of great questions. Any thoughts on Chainlink? Yeah, well, trading, for any of you that are guys are interested in trading, please join the private newsletter and the private community. It's an amazing place to grow, and it's only $30 a month. The amount of education that you get from our community for $30 is way, way more valuable than that. So if you're actually interested in learning, put some money where your mouth is and start educating yourself by working with a group of people that are willing and interested to also help go through that process of learning and interest. I know I saw one of our members here, they made almost a Bitcoin, in a full Bitcoin from last month's newsletter, because we had great entries, great strategy, and great exits. And that's not something you get by accident. It costs you money and energy to be able to make those plays successfully. So in terms of asking, like, for the traders' perspectives, just please join our private newsletter, because we do most of our conversations in there And I do a lot of writing, around 16 pages every month, that is hugely valuable for you guys. So if you're interested in Chainlink on a deeper basis, Martin, jump into our private newsletter. You can get arcanebear.com/landing page. I believe the links are down below too. Let's see. Sono keeps asking about QKC, almost just horrible. Brian Beckstead says the private bear den is amazing. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Life size box. YouTube just removed most of my crypto videos citing harmful and dangerous content and sale of regulated goods. It's been 10 years of making videos. From Chris Dunn. Okay, well, I'll check out Chris Dunn's story here myself and see what happened. Let's see if we wait a few days more for confirmations. That's from Chris Dunn's Twitter. Philippe Condon says private den 100% recommended. Thank you guys. I really appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun building the private bear den again. The other reason we do that is because it's better to have people that are invested in their own education instead of just wildly giving out information for free. So let's take a look at Twitter and Chris Dunn here, and we'll actually take a look at his YouTube page as well, to go from there. So Chris Dunn, I never saw with 400,000 subscribers. I've followed him for a while. I've never seen him that big. Let's see, how many videos does he have? A lot of his crypto videos are still up here. Bitcoin versus gold, how to make $75,000 as a teenager. See, this could be considered harmful content for people that don't know what they're talking about. You know, if you have some, like, imagine Chris Dunn here is talking about Hexcoin. Like, that's danger. I mean, I'm sure he's not, but you know what I'm saying? Like, these are direct aims at people that don't have a lot of education in the financial markets. You know, yeah, I could see that maybe YouTube would consider this dangerous just by the way these videos are titled. 8 ways Bitcoin is a profit booster for entrepreneurs. Again, like this is clickbait titles that could be considered harmful, and YouTube will start cracking down on that, especially if you include words like teenager. And again, this is a huge move we've seen in YouTube recently. Although, if we go to Chris Dunn's About page, actually, what can we? Is it Social Blade? That does it. We can watch, yeah, we can probably check out Chris Dunn's channel here on Social Blade. Chris. And again, I would speculate that a lot of this is coming from what I was just talking about, which is YouTube's take on child content. So Chris Dunn, 210,000 subscribers, 7.4 million video views. Total weekly subscribers. Yeah, there's no loss here. See, so whatever he's talking about is like no one else saw that happen. Do you know what I mean? And this is the difficult part, is that they can just say things when we have recorded data that's not the case. Let's see, total weekly subscribers. Can I open this up? Detailed statistics. I don't use Social Blade all that often. Yeah, look, I mean, I don't have any more data here, but back to the in November, it's always been 200,000 subscribers. He hasn't lost any. He's been definitely not gaining as many subscribers, that's for sure. I mean, and again, if you think about what I was just saying about YouTube not giving views to accounts that don't have an age attached to them, because this is now considered age-sensitive content, especially based off what Chris was saying. He's not telling the truth. I mean, I didn't see Chris Dunn's. Oh God, I don't know why we're going down this path, but I just want to explain my point, because I like YouTube and I think what they're doing is valuable. YouTube crypto censorship. See, this to me is more conspiracy theory without the understanding of what's actually going on behind the scenes at, like, I can't find Chris Dunn here on YouTube, on Twitter. Anyways, if one of you guys has that, I'll take a look. But the point of what I'm saying is, look, I like Omar, but this is YouTube crypto censorship. No, YouTube has been doing this across the board. And if you pay attention and you do your homework, you'd know why it's happening. And it's because of children. It's not because of children, but because of children's content, essentially. And it's been a big conversation and debate on many other channels. So anyways, I don't want to give that too much more energy because I've done a lot of research into this, and it's been happening for the last 6 months. It's not like it happened yesterday. YouTube has been changing their algorithms for child content consistently over the last 6 months. So any of you guys that don't have an age attached to your account, you may not be getting the same distribution of content anymore because YouTube will just consider you a child, because now it's at their responsibility to take action on their platform. And again, I think that's important to understand, that these consequences are extremely detrimental to their platform, but it's not aimed at like crypto content creators. It's aimed at content creators that talk about making money as a teenager, hundreds of thousands of dollars as a teenager, that may have lost a bunch of kids' money. And again, it's not that they lost the money, it's that they're children still. I mean, did you know that World Bank youth, how old are you to not be a youth to World Bank? I think it's like 35 years old. Yeah. The World Bank considers you a youth up until you are 35 years old. So keep that in mind. You were a child, basically, under the World Bank's eyes until you're 35 years old. And people forget that. People forget there's a large discrepancy between what an active, invested, controlled mind is, and it takes some time. Again, I wouldn't be too concerned about this stuff. Mostly what I'm seeing that those guys are posting seems like conspiracy theory without a whole lot of background research into these new child laws that YouTube is having to deal with. Okay. So it looks so new. I'll get there eventually, but for now I'm more interested in the philosophical conversations. How to identify directional basis? Would you currently be long on Matic or short on Matic with a closed stop loss? Again, for questions like this, guys, just please join the private newsletter for the $30 a month it costs. Like we had 140% trade on Matic the month before, 50% in the last like 2 weeks, as long as you use the stop loss and follow the strategy. Again, none of this is investment advice. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to learn how to trade, you better be investing in your own education. Otherwise, it's not a philosophical question I want to answer because it's not a short one. And I do answer them very specifically in the private bear den as we're going, and at least as often as I can. I really like Enigma. Do you know anything about it? I do not. It really does appear as YouTube is cracking down on crypto channels. No, it's not crypto channels. It's all channels that have a variation of abusive content towards children. I can't explain that to you guys any simpler than that. And I've done my homework into this sector. Trust me, it's not crypto channels. It's abusive content that is not deemed acceptable for children across the fucking board. Anyone who's saying, oh, it's just for crypto, they haven't done their homework. I promise you. Sonu says that not true here in India. Many crypto YouTubers, not a single crypto blocked. YouTube just removed. Yeah. Anyways, the private bear den is amazing. Thank you, Brian. I really appreciate that. Private bear den, 100% recommended. Yeah, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate that. None of those titles are that bad in my opinion. We're concerned about censorship is getting worse. That's the point. Again, it's not censorship, guys. This is a very clear conversation around the content for children's space across the board. It doesn't matter what type of YouTube channel you are. If you have swearing, abusive, sexualized content in any way, if you don't have an age attached to your account, they're considering you children. This has been a conversation that's going on for the last 6 months and it has nothing to do specifically with content from crypto creators. It's just across the board. So let's take, I'll answer a few more of you guys' questions here now that I've gotten to the end finally. YouTube no sold advertising to children, problem, reaction, solution. Again, they were just blanket advertising. The problem here is that, I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to explain this. If you didn't have an age attached to your account, you might be considered a child. And now that if you don't, you will be considered a child because YouTube doesn't know how old you are and they can't have any excuse for what type of content they're delivering. Again, so it's not a problem, reaction, solution. It's that they just weren't dealing with some of the discrepancies in their own platform, and that's been dangerous because the governments start to get involved. Let's see. Martin Daly says, what about YouTube taking down channels like Alex Jones and the likes of them? Do you think there's a massive deplatforming of true tellers maybe? Again, this has just been a wave of what is considered abusive content for people who, this is where I wholly agree. Every piece of content should be allowed for people that are old enough to digest it. And this is the difficult part for YouTube, is that they don't have like, you must be 18 years or older to use this platform as a button, because they know that it's valuable to be able to have like child's toys reviews. Like that kid is one of the highest paid YouTubers on the platform, and all he does is review child's toys or whatever, right? So I do believe it is to protect children. I've done my homework. I've done my research more than probably anybody else in the crypto space on what these things are coming from. I would guarantee that. Now, in terms of Alex Jones, again, here, what you have is that if you have some 15-year-old kid that ends up on Alex Jones's channel, it's abusive, it's considered abusive content because the mind of a child is still forming. It's not well educated. It doesn't know how to think critically. It doesn't know yet all these very advanced decision-making tactics. So again, I don't want to get too off topic here, but this is a very important conversation. I mean, their demographic, a large amount of it is 18 years and under that watch people like PewDiePie, etc. Right, so you got to understand that their demographic has no like age protection. So with someone like Alex Jones, just even from a blatant idea, it's hard to discriminate. Yet they have to, because now the governments are getting involved. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. I will take a look at QKC because Sonu asked so many freaking times. I don't even know what it is, and if it doesn't show up here, I'm not going to look at it. QKC, let's see what this is, versus Bitcoin. So first off, Sonu, I would never enter everything all at once. That's just a general all-around bad idea. Oh wow, it's done nothing but down. I have no idea what this token is. I wouldn't touch it because I don't know what it is. I see no volume coming in. But that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's only at 39 Satoshis. It's not like it can go much lower. It can go to 0, sure, but that's not much lower. And give you a lot of room for recovery either. I mean, I have no idea. I have nothing to say about this, Sonu. I feel bad for people that enter stuff like this. Like, I have no idea what it is. Why? I don't know what is QKC. CoinGecko, QKC, doesn't even show up. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if it doesn't show up on something like CoinGecko, you got to be really, concerned. I would not have entered a position ever in this token. Especially, I mean, if you can't find it on any of the big. Yeah, I can't tell you any more than that. What is QKC? Cork chain. I have no idea what Cork chain is. Permissionless, scalable, decentralized blockchain. Again, 1 million transactions per second. Who cares? Who's building on it? That's the only important part to understand. Again, guys, it's just another EOS ERC20 token. Doesn't even have its own blockchain technically. They just say they can build one in QKC. Let's see, does it show up here? Okay, $1.5 million in volume, $7 million market cap. Yeah, I'm very weary of anything like this. You know, $45 million market cap from nothing, and then just down. I mean, it actually looks like it could be a falling wedge here, but again, because there's no real fundamental analysis to this token, I wouldn't touch it. So I can't tell you how much lower it's going to go. Like, it could go to 0. I mean, I don't know what's behind it. Like, where's the social team? -90. Competition speed ended. See, if you have 49,000 followers and only get 2 likes on your post, this is definitely BS. You see, I mean, you can just do a little research here. 28 people liking it from 48,000 followers. Yeah, there's something wrong here. If you're paying for fake followers to convince people that you're a well-grouped idea. Again, who knows? Maybe it's an amazing platform and project that's just not getting the highlight that it needs. I would be very weary about stuff like this. 1 million transactions per second. That's like their main selling feature. I don't even know what you'd need that much for. Anyways, it's always, I always do way more due diligence before you enter tokens, guys. I'm sorry, that's all I can really say on that one. Nice, thank you guys. I will leave it at that. It's been an hour. Again, my goal here is just to start doing more live streams so we can have these conversations. I do know that YouTube created the problem of get caught selling advertising to children. So let me specify again, because I've done my homework here, is that they weren't selling advertising to children. They're selling advertisements to accounts that don't have an age attached to it, right? So now if I log in to a Google account that has no age attached to it and I watch a YouTube advertisement, I don't know what type of advertisement I'm getting. That's a big deal. And they didn't realize that they were doing that until all of a sudden the government started to get involved and say, hey, these break our FCC, our child securities laws, etc. And then YouTube really had to tighten up their game. And that's really where a lot of this stuff has come from. Anyways, we'll leave it at that. Give us a thumbs up if you like this content. I'm really grateful to be able to do this with you guys. I know YouTube has slashed our views, but it's not because of the content we produce. It's because YouTube really likes it when you produce content all the time at like a particular weekly time, or you keep your views and your hourly count up, and we just produce content randomly because this is all I wanted to do here is provide value to the people that are interested in learning. Again, so I'm super grateful for the private bear den. You guys have done amazing work together. Again, we've got great reviews coming out from that. So if you guys want, you can go to arcanebear.com. I suggest you signed up, but don't do it if you don't want to, because it's only for those who want to invest in educating themselves and it takes time. Like, you need at least a year or two in trading before you make any type of progress, although we can help expedite it. It took me 7 years to get to a decent spot where I can trade and execute a strategy without worrying. You can go here, you can join the club. You can check out on the Academy too. We've got a bunch of free content in the trading space. We can teach you all about Fibonacci, Elliott Wave, MACD, Bollinger Bands. We're consistently adding to this resources about what Bitcoin's price history is, what you need to trade cryptos, technical analysis and candlestick terminology. We're also building out some courses and quizzes as time go. All this is free, but again, if you want to sign up for our private group and our private trading newsletter, you just click here. It'll bring you to sign up all the tokens we've been watching lately. Anyways, it brings you this fun page here. Go ahead, sign up if you want. Don't if you don't. Doesn't really matter. Only do it if you're adventurous. Are you adventurous? Do you like trying new things? Give us a thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. Always very grateful for your support. I know it's been one heck of a ride, and we're always happy to be here with you guys. So please do know that I am very grateful. I wish you all a happy holidays. I really appreciate all the support. I know it's been a long time. So I'm going to give you guys this little thing here as we go.